I'm JD. Welcome to my channel. Please subscribe. Please hit like. And I've got a short video for you today. This is a GMC 320 Geiger counter to detect radioactive material in watch hands. So if you've seen the series Radium Girls, this is back in the 1920s where they used to use radium in paint to paint watch hands and dials. And the ladies who worked in the factories actually used to lick the brushes to make them sharper to paint with them, and a lot of them lost like jaws. It was a lot of deformity and cancer and all kinds of stuff. They used to also sprinkle radium on their dresses because it glowed at night when they went to dances on the weekend and stuff like that. Just crazy. And there were no regulations against this then, and management was like, yeah, this stuff is really good, making the watch hands glow at night. So this is a warning for you watchmakers out there. So if you're working on a watch, then test it for radioactive material. So this is not a watch, it's a barometer, but it's a kind of cool pocket watch barometer. And I've just moved my Geiger counter over the top. The tube is on the bottom here, base, so I just move it over here, and there's nothing there at all, no detection at all. I got a bunch of watch hands here, and I was wondering about these watch hands, if there's any radium in these at all. And I think there is, but there you can see it jump up a bit to 36, 38, 43. It's a bit high. So there's something in here that's got radioactive material in it. Now if I were to just spread these watch hands out like this, and I could probably find the guilty party in here, and by just going over the top like that. Something right there, and I go back this way, nothing. So I have a watch hand, I think right here, that is radioactive. Let me see if this is the one here. I'm going to move this aside here. Oh yeah, guilty as hell. Look at that thing go. So that's this watch hand here, and it's because there was some radium paint on that watch hand, as you can see in the back end of that hand. Now if I look at the rest of this, it's got to settle down. Do I have any other watch hands like that? No, it's starting to die down again. No, it's one watch hand that's causing the problem. Yeah, one watch hand. So this watch hand here is radioactive. It's got radium in it. Likely not dangerous if you're pretty far away from it. It's not a linear distance. It's kind of an exponential distance. So let me just slide over these watch hands again to make sure I don't have additional problems. Nope. It's gone. It's drilling all the way down to 20 or whatever. Just the normal kind of radiation you'd have in the atmosphere or whatever. So, and then I have a bunch of watch hands that I have gotten off the internet, and I got them from Etsy, I believe. I'm just picking these watch hands up here and get them out of the way. Just bear with me. And I got them in nice paper, all folded up nicely. And I said, well, I wonder if there's any radium in these watch hands here that could be affected. Also dials, like radium dials from old watches, looking at trench watches in trench watches that might have been issued in World War I would have had radium dials on them to glow at night. And other things like clocks, nightstand clocks. I think I have a clock I'll show you in a second that's got radioactive material in it. Just trying to pick this up a little faster so you guys don't get bored and cut out. So I'll just turn the video off and turn it on again while I clean up my mess. So I've got some seconds hand in this container here, and there's no reaction to these, so we're good with those. I got the rest of them put away in the case, and really there's nothing left here. There's just this hand over here. I'm not going to go near it again. And then I bought a bunch of watch hands, like I said, that didn't seem to be a problem, and these ones here are, very well organized, very beautiful hands, and they're for pocket watches. So I scooted my getting a couple of shots here, but nothing significant at all. So nothing there. And let me go to the next one here. And same thing, bunch of watch hands. These are hour hands for pocket watches. And I don't think there's anything here. Nope, nothing there. And then I've got a bunch of, I think these are minute hands. Yeah, some hour hand. No, these are largely minute hands, and they're for bigger watches. There's a couple hour hands here, but I don't see anything here. Nope, nothing really there. And then I think there's a guilty party here. So I look at these hands here, and these are hands that are loomed, and they're for pocket watches, but they've been loomed. So I look at these hands here, and let's see if there's any radium in these. These are old hands. Here we go. And these are cracking up to the dangerous level. I'll just leave this over the top here for a few seconds. Look how high that count per minute's going. Or it might be count per some other measure, but the count is going off the charts here. 749, 78 something. So this is really, really high. So these hands are very radioactive, and if you've got any flakes of material from these hands in your lungs, it could cause cancer. One small flake of material in your lungs, sitting in your lungs, could cause cancer. But look at the amount of radiation in these hands, just crazy. So these are likely the hands that were painted by the radium girls in the U.S. As the CPM is up to 18 now. I'm going to see how high it gets here. Just going to sit this down on top and let it run. That is high. I didn't know it was that high. It scares the crap out of me when I see that, right? So I'm going to have to move those hands to a safer area in my room, and likely never use them. I may actually throw these out and let the mice get, so there we go, 119, 118, 119, 118. So let me see what that means here. All right, I'm still riding around 1890, something like that. So what I'm going to do is turn off this camera and show you my display and see if you can. I've gone into a radiation chart here, and I've just got to turn off both my cameras here and then turn on the display. So those cameras are off, the display is on. And I'll try to show this appropriately. Just ignore all the tabs on the top with Canada rental and everything else. So, so that's the display. Not so good, right? So let me just crop this down a bit here so it's not distracting. And as you can see, it says, center this a bit, and there we go. There's a display here. So this is clocking way more than 500. It's at almost 2000. And this particular chart says risk of cancer if exposed for 90 days. And then the 150 is risk of cancer if exposed for a year. And 100 is alert, no need to panic, try to figure out what's going on. So that's this chart here. Now if I go back one, let me see if I can get that other chart I saw. That this chart here, I'm going to view image on this one and see if I can expand the image here. There we go. So there's this chart here. And it says, you back it up a bit here, CPM, this is the CPM level over there. So I'm just, the CPM is, I'm going to just edit this for 1 second here. There we go. So the CPM is above 500. It says even more dangerous, shelter or leave immediately. So that's not good. That's leave immediately, very detrimental to your health. And then there's another one, the Nuclear Regulation Safety Guide right here. And this one here says, if you can see that, I apologize, you can see if I can get it bigger here. Above 2,000, extremely high leave area ASAP and find out why. That's above 1,000. Above 2,000, evacuate immediately and report to government. So that is not good at all. So let me get back to my normal cameras here for a second. And this is what we're looking at. So we're looking at some pretty dangerous material here. And I know I'm sitting here close to it, but let me show you something else though. As I lift this above it like this, and let me just leave it up here for a few seconds and see what happens. It's not a linear scale. So I'm just curious, this is around 2 inches above the radioactive material. And the radium is just off gassing all the time, right? So, but if you can keep this material stored and away from you, see now it's getting down to 1,000. And I believe this thing will hopefully go below 500. And if this goes below 500, then I can keep this in my workshop, in a secluded area or whatever. As long as I'm not near this, like I'm not within a couple of inches of this, I should be fine. See, I'm good. I'm around 2 inches up from it, right? I like inches, by the way, better than centimeters, even though watchmaking is all millimeters. So there, it just went below 500. And I'm just going to keep an eye on it again to see how low this will go. I didn't know whether this had a light on it or not. I'll just angle it a bit. So it's 450, 454. So it's around there. So if I raise this up even more, let me adjust my camera. And this will drop down even lower. So this I'd say is around 4 inches away from the radioactive material. And it's dropping significantly. You can still hear it though. You can still hear it's catching it. So I just turned off the light on its own. Yeah, 390. So it's pretty low. I believe this will go at 390. It's still generating radioactive material. So it's saying in this that you do have a high level if it's above 100. And you have to find out why. So let me just, if I sit this back down on here, the Geiger counter goes friggin' nuts. So let me just very carefully put the paper back on here. And I will declare that that individual is trying to kill me. Who gave me this. So these watch hands that I've looked at are fine. The ones that are the watch hands for old pocket watches, there's no issue with these because they don't have radium in them. These hands are awful because they have radium in them. I think I know where to keep them. And I'm going to, not that this helps at all, I'm going to keep these in a bag like this. I'm going to put these in a bag like this, and I'm going to store them in my cupboard way up there. Now let me get back to you in 2 seconds here, okay? All right, what I've got here is an old clock, and I know just by looking at this clock that there's going to be issues. Just looking at the clock, I can see that there could be major problems here with this particular beast, right? And the reason why is the color of those of the illumination, or the material to illuminate the numbers. It looks very suspicious. So I'm going to hit this with the Geiger counter and see if I've got some noise going on here. You see, where do I want to move this? I'll move it here. Yeah, I've got a little bit, but not a lot. Still not great. It's still getting me 91. It's going to give me above 100 now. So this This is a clock that was in someone's bedroom, and it's starting to count. So I'm getting my count a bit high now. Not good. 149, 153. So this thing here is radioactive as well, right? Nice. Can a guy find anything not radioactive? And now, last but not least, I've got this old Gruen wristwatch. Looks like it's from the 50s. Maybe earlier, but it does look like it's from around the 50s. And let's see what this thing does. It's going nuts. So this watch is radioactive. So I wouldn't work on this watch, even though some people might work on watches that are radioactive and try to control the air. Basically, don't have any flakes from this flying around. You will get cancer. So this is radioactive. I'm going to store it where the other stuff is. So that, my friends, that's the video for today. I hope you enjoyed it. Just a little warning, get yourself a Geiger counter. This one is actually connected to my Wi-Fi and also reports high levels of radiation to a Central North America server that collects all this information. So hopefully the RCMP or the FBI don't end up at my door saying, what radioactive shit's going on here, boys? So there you go. That's my video for today. Thanks a lot. Have a good day.